Jinwoo Park felt his stomach drop as the ship's alarms screamed around him. Red lights flashed on every surface of the small research vessel. The main engine was dead. The backup engine was failing fast. Come on, Jinwoo said through his teeth. His hands moved quickly over the control panel. He had to find somewhere to land. The planet below looked brown and empty, but it was his only choice. The ship shook hard as it hit the atmosphere. Jinwoo held tight to his chair as the vessel spun out of control. Through the window, he could see the ground getting closer and closer too fast. Much too fast. The crash was loud and violent. Metal bent and broke. Glass shattered. Then everything went quiet. Jinwoo opened his eyes slowly. His head hurt badly. Blood ran down his face from a cut on his forehead, but he was alive. That was something. He looked around the broken ship. Everything was damaged. The communication system was dead. The engine was completely destroyed. The emergency beacon was crushed under a piece of fallen metal. Perfect, Jinwoo said to the empty ship. Just perfect. He grabbed his emergency pack and pushed open the bent door. The air outside was thin but breathable. The sky was a strange orange color. 2 suns hung low on the horizon. Jinwoo stepped out and looked around. What he saw made him forget about his injuries. Huge metal buildings stretched as far as he could see. Massive towers reached up toward the orange sky. Giant pipes and walkways connected everything together. It looked like a city, but bigger than any city Jinwoo had ever seen. It was like someone had built an entire world out of metal and machines, but it was all dead. No lights, no sounds, no movement at all. What is this place? Jinwoo asked himself. He pulled out his scanner and pointed it at the nearest building. The readings made his eyes go wide. The metal was made from materials he had never seen before. The design was completely alien. This was not human technology. Jinwoo walked toward the closest structure. It was huge, maybe 50 stories tall. The walls were smooth and covered with strange symbols. There were no windows, just small holes in perfect patterns. As he got closer, he noticed something else. Everything was in perfect condition. There was no rust, no damage from weather. It was like whoever built this place had left yesterday, not years ago. He found what looked like a door. It was twice as tall as a human door and perfectly round. Jinwoo touched it with his hand. Nothing happened. He pushed against it. Still nothing. Then he noticed a small panel next to the door. It had symbols on it that glowed faintly. Jinwoo touched one of the symbols. The door opened with a soft sound. Inside, everything was dark. Jinwoo turned on his flashlight and stepped through the doorway. The beam of light showed him a vast room filled with machines. They were tall and thin, covered with more of the strange symbols. None of them were working. Jinwoo walked deeper into the building. Every room was the same. Machines everywhere, all silent and dead. But they were not broken. They just looked like they were sleeping. After an hour of exploring, Jinwoo found something different. A room with what looked like computer screens. They were dark, but when he touched one, it flickered to life. Strange symbols appeared on the screen. Then, suddenly, the symbols changed. They became pictures. Simple drawings that seemed to tell a story. The first picture showed the planet covered with the metal cities. Thousands of alien figures moved around the buildings. They were tall and thin with long arms and big heads. Everything looked busy and alive. The next picture showed the same aliens, but they looked worried. They were pointing at the machines. Some of the machines had red marks on them. The third picture showed the aliens leaving. Their ships flew away from the planet. The cities became empty. The last picture showed the planet as it was now, dead and silent. Jinwoo stared at the screen for a long time. They abandoned this place, he said, but why? He touched the screen again. More pictures appeared. These showed the inside of the machines. There were diagrams and charts that Jinwoo could not understand. But one thing was clear, the machines had stopped working and the aliens could not fix them. They gave up, Jinwoo realized. They just left everything and gave up. He spent the rest of the day exploring more buildings. Each one was the same. Massive machines, all perfectly preserved, all completely dead. The aliens had built something incredible here. But when it broke, they had simply walked away. As the 2 suns began to set, Jinwoo found himself on top of one of the tallest towers. From here, he could see the entire complex. It went on forever, in every direction. Millions of buildings, billions of machines, all waiting for someone to turn them back on. But Jinwoo was just one man. He was not an alien super genius. He was an engineer and archaeologist from Earth. He fixed old human machines and studied dead civilizations. What could he do with technology that was beyond anything humanity had ever created? He looked at his broken ship in the distance. It was barely visible among the alien buildings. There was no way to repair it. No way to call for help. He was stuck here. At least I have shelter, Jinwoo said to himself. And food for a few months. But what would happen when the food ran out? What would happen when his equipment broke? Could he survive alone on this dead world? That night, Jinwoo made camp in one of the smaller buildings. As he ate his dinner, he thought about the pictures on the screen. The aliens had built all of this, but they could not fix it when it broke. They were too specialized, too rigid in their thinking. But humans were different. Humans were good at fixing things with whatever they had. They were good at finding new ways to solve old problems. They were good at making things work even when they shouldn't. Maybe, just maybe, Jinwoo could do something the aliens could not. He pulled out his tools and looked at them. A few simple human instruments, nothing fancy, nothing advanced. But they were his, and he knew how to use them. Tomorrow, he would start learning how the alien machines worked. He would figure out why they had stopped, and then maybe he would try to fix them. It was a crazy idea. One human against the technology of an entire alien civilization. But what else was he going to do? Sit here and wait to die? Jinwoo Park smiled for the first time since his crash. He was stranded on an alien world with no hope of rescue, but he was also surrounded by the greatest engineering challenge in the galaxy, and challenges were what he lived for as he fell asleep. The alien machines stood silent around him, waiting, patient, ready for someone to bring them back to life. That someone might just be a human who was too stubborn to give up. 6 months had passed since Jinwoo's crash. The alien world no longer felt strange to him. It felt like home. Every morning he walked through the metal corridors of his chosen building. He had picked a smaller structure near the center of the complex that had everything he needed. Power cores that still worked, water systems that cleaned themselves, and rooms that stayed warm even when the suns were down. But the best part was the workshop he had built. Jinwoo had taken apart dozens of alien machines. He studied every piece, every wire, every strange component. At first, nothing made sense. The alien technology was completely different from human designs. But slowly, very slowly, he began to understand. The aliens built everything to be perfect. Every machine had exactly the right parts in exactly the right places. Nothing was wasted, nothing was extra. It was beautiful, but it was also fragile. When one small part broke, the whole machine stopped working. The aliens had not planned for repairs. They had not planned for problems. They had built a perfect system that could not handle imperfection. That's your problem, Jinwoo said to a broken mining robot. You're too perfect. He pulled out his human tools and started to work. The robot was designed to dig rare metals from deep underground. It was supposed to work with 12 other robots in a perfect formation. But when one robot broke, all 13 stopped working. Jinwoo threw away the broken robot and rewired the other 12. He made them work independently. Each robot could now do its job alone. It was not as efficient as the original design, but it worked. 2 weeks later, the mining operation was running again. Jinwoo stood in the control room and watched the screens. 12 robots moved through the tunnels below. They dug up tons of valuable metals every day. The metals were processed by machines that had been silent for centuries. Not bad for a human, Jinwoo said with a smile. His success with the mining robots gave him confidence. He moved on to bigger challenges. Power systems, water treatment plants, manufacturing facilities. Each alien system was different, but they all had the same weakness. They were too perfect to be practical. Jinwoo fixed them by making them less perfect. He added redundancy. He built in backup systems. He made sure that when one part failed, another part could take over. The aliens had built their machines to work in ideal conditions. Jinwoo rebuilt them to work in the real world. After 1 year, 3 major sections of the complex were operational. After 18 months, Jinwoo had restored an entire manufacturing district. The machines were producing materials that did not exist anywhere else in the galaxy. But Jinwoo did not stop there. He began to improve the alien designs. The aliens had used a power system that was very efficient but very complicated. Jinwoo simplified it and made it more reliable. His version produced 30% more energy and never broke down. The aliens had built factories that could make one type of product perfectly. Jinwoo modified them to make many different products. The quality was still excellent, but now, the factories were flexible. The aliens had created a computer network that could process information incredibly fast. But when the network got too much data, it crashed. Jinwoo rebuilt it with human-style error handling. Now the network could handle any amount of information and keep working. By the end of his 2nd year, Jinwoo had transformed the entire complex. The dead alien city was now a living, breathing industrial center. It was more productive than it had ever been when the aliens lived there. But Jinwoo was not finished. He had one more project in mind. In the center of the complex was the largest building of all. It was a massive control center that had once managed the entire planet. The aliens had abandoned it when their perfect systems failed. Jinwoo had saved it for last because it was the most complicated. The control center was filled with quantum computers and AI systems that Jinwoo barely understood, but he did not need to understand everything. He just needed to understand enough. He spent 6 months studying the alien AI. It was incredibly sophisticated, but it was also incredibly rigid. It could only think in the ways the aliens had programmed it to think. When it encountered a problem it had not been programmed to solve, it simply stopped working. Jinwoo began to modify the AI. He added human-style creativity algorithms, gave it the ability to improvise and adapt. He taught it to find solutions that were not perfect but were good enough. The process was slow and dangerous. One mistake could destroy the entire system, but Jinwoo was patient. He worked carefully, testing each change before moving to the next one. After 3 months of work, Jinwoo was ready to test his creation. He stood in the main control room and activated the modified AI screens. All around him came to life. Data flowed across the displays. The AI began to analyze the entire complex. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the AI spoke. System analysis complete, it said in perfect human English. Multiple efficiency improvements detected. Implementing optimization. Jinwoo watched in amazement as the AI began to optimize the entire complex in real time. Production increased. Energy usage decreased. Waste was eliminated. The whole system became more efficient than Jinwoo had ever imagined possible. But the most amazing thing was that the AI was learning. It was finding new ways to improve the system. It was solving problems that Jinwoo had not even noticed. Status report, Jinwoo said. All systems operating at 140% of original alien specifications. The AI replied. Production capacity has increased by 200%. Energy efficiency has improved by 50%. System reliability is at maximum levels. Jinwoo sat down heavily in the control chair. He had done it. He had taken a dead alien world and turned it into something better than the aliens had ever built. But as he looked at the screens showing the bustling complex, Jinwoo felt a strange sadness. He had accomplished something incredible, but he had done it alone. There was no one to share his success with, no one to appreciate what he had built. He thought about Earth, about his colleagues, about the life he had left behind. Would he ever see any of them again? The AI seemed to sense his mood. Energy signature detected, it announced. Multiple spacecraft approaching the system. Estimated arrival, 6 months. Jinwoo's heart jumped. Human ships. Analysis suggests 70% probability of human origin. Recommend preparation for contact. Jinwoo smiled. After 2.5 years alone, he was finally going to have visitors. He wondered what they would think of his work. Would they be impressed? Would they understand what he had accomplished? He looked around the control room one more time. Everything was perfect. The alien technology was working better than ever. The complex was producing materials and energy that could change the galaxy. But Jinwoo knew that his real work was just beginning. Soon, he would have to explain to other humans what he had built. He would have to decide what to do with his incredible creation. The abandoned alien world was abandoned no more. It was now a human world, rebuilt by human hands and human ingenuity. And soon, very soon, others would come to see what one determined human could accomplish when he refused to give up. The human rescue ships arrived on a clear morning when both suns were high in the orange sky. Jinwoo watched them from the top of the central control tower. 3 large vessels and 2 smaller escort ships. They moved slowly and carefully. Surprised by what they were seeing, Jinwoo activated the communication system he had built into the alien network. This is Dr. Jinwoo Park calling the human fleet. Welcome to Kepler 442c. Please identify yourselves. There was a long pause. Then a voice crackled through the speakers. Dr. Park, this is Captain Hunwoo Choi of the rescue vessel New Seoul. Are you really alive down there? Very much alive, Captain, and I have a lot to show you. The ships landed in the spaceport that Jinwoo had cleared and expanded. He watched through the security cameras as the airlocks opened, and people stepped out. The first person was clearly Captain Choi. He was a big man in military uniform, walking carefully and looking around with wide eyes. Behind him came about 20 other people, soldiers, engineers, and scientists. One woman caught Jinwoo's attention. She was small and moved with the confidence of a diplomat. Her uniform had the symbols of the Earth Colonial Authority. This was someone important. Jinwoo met them at the main entrance to the control complex. He had not seen another human face in almost 3 years. It felt strange to talk to real people instead of his AI. Dr. Park, Captain Choi said, shaking Jinwoo's hand firmly. We expected to find your body, not this. He gestured at the bustling complex around them. This is Yoonbi Lim, the captain continued, indicating the small woman. She's our diplomatic officer and representative of the Colonial Authority. Yoonbi stepped forward with a professional smile. Dr. Park, what you've accomplished here is remarkable. We detected massive energy signatures from this planet. Energy levels that rival our largest industrial colonies. Please, call me Jinwoo. And yes, I've made some improvements to the original alien systems. Captain Choi laughed. Improvements? Jinwoo, this place is producing more energy than our home system. Our long-range scanners show industrial activity that shouldn't be possible. Jinwoo led them through the complex. He showed them the mining operations, the manufacturing plants, the power systems, and finally the control center. With each stop, the visitors became more amazed and more quiet. In the control center, UNB stared at the displays showing planetary production statistics. Jinwoo, do you understand what you've created here? This single planet could supply materials for 100 human colonies. I just fixed some broken machines, Jinwoo said modestly. No, said Dr. Kwang-Soo-im, one of the scientists. You've created something completely new. This is human engineering combined with alien technology. It's like nothing we've ever seen. Captain Choi was studying the defensive systems displays. These energy shields could protect an entire fleet. The manufacturing capacity could build warships faster than any human shipyard. Something in the captain's tone made Jinwoo uncomfortable. This isn't a military facility, Captain. It's just an industrial complex. Not anymore, Yunbi said quietly. Jinwoo, you need to understand. What you've built here changes everything. This technology could give humanity a massive advantage in our expansion into the galaxy. Or it could start a war, added Dr. Im. If other alien species learn that, humans can improve upon their technology. What are you saying? Jinwoo asked. We're saying this place is too valuable to leave unprotected, Captain Choi replied. The colonial authority will need to establish a permanent presence here. Military protection, industrial oversight, scientific research teams. Jinwoo felt his stomach drop. You want to take over my home? It's not taking over, Yunbi said carefully. It's protecting a vital human asset. You'll be compensated. Of course, full recognition for your discoveries. A position as chief engineer if you want it. This is my life's work, Jinwoo said firmly. I spent 3 years building this. I'm not giving it up. The room became tense. Captain Choi moved closer to Jinwoo with respect. Dr. Park, you're one man. This facility could support millions of people, could advance human civilization by centuries. You can't keep it all to yourself. Why not? I built it. I made it work. The aliens abandoned it, so it was mine to take. The colonial authority doesn't see it that way, UNB said. This planet is too important for individual ownership. It needs to be managed by proper authorities. Jinwoo looked around the control room. His AI was monitoring the conversation, ready to respond to his commands. The entire complex was under his control. He had built it from nothing, and now they wanted to take it away. I need time to think, Jinwoo said. Of course, Yunbi replied. But Jinwoo, you should know that more ships are coming. A full colonial fleet will arrive within 6 months. The authority has already made the decision to establish a major base here. That night, Jinwoo sat alone in his workshop. The human visitors were staying in the guest quarters he had prepared. They were nice enough people, but they saw his world very differently than he did. To them, it was a resource to be exploited. To him, it was home. The AI interrupted his thoughts. Long-range sensors have detected additional contacts. It announced, unknown energy signatures approaching from the galactic rim. Estimated arrival, 2 months. Jinwoo frowned. More human ships. Negative energy patterns do not match human technology. Configuration suggests origin species, Villani. Jinwoo. Blood went cold. The Villani, the original builders of this complex, the aliens who had abandoned it centuries ago. Why are they coming back now? Analysis suggests they have detected the increased energy output from our operations. Probability. Assessment. They are coming to investigate. Jinwoo stared at the sensor data. The Villani ships were huge, much larger than the human vessels, and there were dozens of them. Do the humans know about this? Negative. Their sensors do not have sufficient range to detect the approaching fleet. Jinwoo made a decision. He would tell Captain Choi and Yun about the incoming aliens, but first, he had to prepare. If the Villani wanted their planet back, they would find it very different from the one they had abandoned. And if the humans in Villani ended up fighting over his world, Jinwoo would make sure they understood who really controlled it. He had spent 3 years making this place his own. He had improved it beyond anything the original builders had imagined. He had turned a dead world into a living marvel of engineering. Now both humanity and the Villani wanted to claim it. But Jinwoo Park had not survived alone on an alien world, just to hand over his life's work to anyone who showed up with enough ships. The real test was just beginning. Admiral Tae-young-oh arrived with 20 warships and an attitude that Jinwoo did not like at all. Dr. Park, the admiral said as he strode into the control center. I'm here to secure this facility for humanity. Captain Choi tells me you've been uncooperative. Jinwoo looked at the new arrival. Admiral Oh was older than Captain Choi, with gray hair and cold eyes. His uniform was covered with medals and rank insignia. This was a man used to getting his way. I've been protecting my home, Jinwoo replied calmly. Your home? Admiral Oh laughed. Son, this is an alien military installation. It belongs to Earth's colonial command now. Actually, Jinwoo said, it belongs to the Villani and they're coming to get it back. The room went silent. Dr. Han, the new xenobiologist who had arrived with the admiral, stepped forward quickly. What do you mean, Dr. Park? Jinwoo activated the main display. Sensor data filled the screen, showing the approaching alien fleet, 47 ships, all massive, all clearly not human. They'll be here in 3 days, Jinwoo said. My AI identified them as Villani vessels, the original builders of this complex. Admiral Oh stared at the display. How long have you known about this? 2 weeks? I was waiting for the right moment to tell you. 2 weeks. The admiral's face turned red. You should have reported this immediately. We could have prepared defenses, called for reinforcements. With what? Jinwoo asked. You have 20 ships. They have 4. And this is their technology. They know it better than you do. Yunbi Lim, who had stayed when the military fleet arrived, spoke up. What do they want? What do you think they want? Jinwoo replied. They built this place. They're probably not happy that humans have been living here and changing their technology. Dr. Myung-han was studying the sensor data carefully. These ships are huge. Each one is 3 times the size of our largest vessels. If they want to fight, we'll lose. Admiral O finished grimly. Unless this facility has defensive capabilities you haven't shown us. Jinwoo smiled slightly. Oh, it has defenses. I've made some improvements to the original Villani systems. For the next 3 days, Jinwoo showed the human military what his planet could do. Energy shields that could stop any weapon. Automated defense platforms that appeared from hidden positions. Manufacturing systems that could produce weapons and armor faster than any human factory. But Admiral O was not satisfied. This is all defensive. We need to take the fight to them. Why? Jinwoo asked. Maybe they just want to talk. Aliens don't just want to talk, the Admiral replied. They want to take back their technology and probably study us while they're at it. The Villani fleet arrived exactly when Jinwoo's AI had predicted. 47 massive ships that dwarfed the human vessels. They took position around the planet and sent a message. The message was in the Villani language, but Dr. Myung-han had been studying the records Jinwoo had found. She translated it for the others. They say this planet belongs to them. They demand that all humans leave immediately. They also want to know who has been corrupting their technology. Corrupting, Jinwoo said. I improved it. A new message arrived. This one was directed specifically at Jinwoo. Dr. Han translated again. They know you're here, Jinwoo. They can detect your modifications to their systems. They want to meet with you alone. Admiral O stepped forward. Absolutely not. It's obviously a trap. Maybe, Jinwoo said, but it's also an opportunity. Let me talk to them. What could you possibly say to make them leave? The Admiral asked. I don't want them to leave, Jinwoo replied. I want them to understand what I've built here. The meeting took place on a small transport ship halfway between the human and Villani fleets. Jinwoo went alone. Despite Admiral O's protests, the Villani representative was exactly what Jinwoo had expected from the pictures he had seen. Tall, thin, with long arms and a large head. Its skin was pale blue and its eyes were completely black. I am Commander Veltar, the alien said in perfect English. You are the human who has contaminated our technology. I am Jinwoo Park, he replied, and I fixed your technology. Fixed. Veltar's voice carried obvious anger. You have corrupted centuries of perfect engineering. You have added crude human modifications to precision Villani systems. Your precision systems didn't work, Jinwoo pointed out. That's why you abandoned the planet. We abandoned it because the systems were damaged beyond repair. The proper solution was to build new installations elsewhere. The proper solution was to fix what you had, Jinwoo countered. But you couldn't do it because your technology was too rigid, too perfect to adapt. Veltar made a sound that might have been laughter. Humans always thinking you can improve upon your betters. Show me these improvements you are so proud of. Jinwoo activated a portable display and showed the commander the planetary statistics. Production levels, efficiency ratings, energy output, all far beyond what the original Villani systems had achieved. Veltar studied the data for a long time. When it looked up, its expression was different. Less angry, more curious. How is this possible? The alien asked. Human engineering, Jinwoo said simply. We don't build things to be perfect, we build them to work. When something breaks, we fix it. When it could work better, we improve it. But these modifications violate fundamental design principles. The systems should not be stable, but they are stable. More stable than your original designs. Veltar was quiet for several minutes. Then it said something that surprised Jinwoo. Our civilization is dying. Human, we have reached the limits of our technology. For 1,000 years we have built nothing new, created nothing innovative. We have perfected everything, and in doing so, we have stopped growing. That's why you're really here, Jinwoo realized. Not to reclaim the planet. To learn how I did it. We detected the energy signatures from across the galaxy. They showed impossible efficiency levels. We had to investigate, and now we face a choice. We can destroy this installation and maintain our technological purity, or we can try to understand how a primitive species achieved what we could not. Jinwoo leaned forward. There's a third option, which is, we work together. You have incredible technology, but you've forgotten how to adapt. We have adaptation skills, but we lack advanced technology. Combine them, and we can build something neither of us could create alone. Veltar considered this. The others of my fleet would never accept such cooperation. Humans are considered a young and crude species. Then prove them wrong, Jinwoo said. Give me a chance to show what human Villani cooperation can accomplish. When Jinwoo returned to the human fleet, Admiral O was waiting with weapons charged and ready. What did they want? The Admiral demanded. To understand how I improved their technology, Jinwoo replied, and I think I convinced them to let me prove that cooperation is better than conquest. You what? Admiral O looked furious. You had no authority to negotiate with hostile aliens. They're not hostile. They're curious. There's a difference. Curious aliens with 47 warships, the Admiral pointed out. Curious aliens with 47 warships and the choice between destroying this place or learning from it, Jinwoo corrected. I convinced them to choose learning. Yunbi Lim stepped forward. What exactly did you agree to? A demonstration, Jinwoo said. 30 days to prove that human-Vellani cooperation can solve problems that neither species can handle alone. And if you fail? Jinwoo looked out at the two fleets facing each other in space, human ships and Vellani ships, all armed and ready for war. If I fail, we probably all die. But if I succeed, we change the galaxy forever. Jinwoo was working in his laboratory, trying to create a fusion of human and Vellani technologies, when the AI made an urgent announcement. Emergency detected. Stellar instability in the Kepler 441 system. Solar flares increasing rapidly. Inhabited planets at risk of total sterilization. Jinwoo looked up from his work. Kepler 441 was only 2 light-years away. 3 planets with human colonies, nearly 1 million people. How long before the flares reached dangerous levels? He asked. 72 hours, the AI replied. The evacuation of all 3 planets would require 2 weeks minimum. Jinwoo's heart sank. There was no time for evacuation. But maybe, just maybe, there was another solution. He called an emergency meeting with both the human and Vellani leaders. Admiral Taeyong-oh came grudgingly. Commander Veltar came out of curiosity. The situation is simple, Jinwoo explained, showing them the astronomical data. The star in the Kepler 441 system is having a massive instability event. It will kill everyone on the 3 colony worlds unless we act fast. Admiral O studied the data. Our ships can't get there in time to evacuate everyone. Even if we could, we don't have enough vessels. Evacuation is not the answer anyway, Commander Veltar added. The stellar event will continue for months. The entire system will be uninhabitable. So what do you suggest? Admiral O asked. Jinwoo activated a new display. It showed technical specifications that made both leaders stare. We build a stellar stabilizer, Jinwoo said. A device that can calm the star and stop the flares. That's impossible, Admiral O said immediately. Humans don't have that technology. The Vellani attempted such a device centuries ago, Veltar said. The project failed. The energy requirements were too great. That's because you both tried to do it alone, Jinwoo replied. The Vellani have the theoretical knowledge, but they couldn't build a power source strong enough. Humans have the engineering skills to build massive power systems, but we don't understand stellar physics well enough. He pointed to the specifications on the screen. But together, we can do it. Vellani science and human engineering. Your knowledge and our adaptability. Commander Veltar studied the plans. This design, it uses human redundancy principles with Vellani precision calculations. It might actually work. It will work, Jinwoo said confidently. But only if we work together. And we have less than 3 days to build it. Admiral O shook his head. Even if this crazy plan could work, we'd have to trust aliens we barely know, share our most advanced technologies, and we would have to trust humans who have already corrupted our systems, Veltar added. 1 million people are going to die if we don't try, Jinwoo said firmly. Human people and the alien species that live on those worlds too. This isn't about trust, it's about doing what's right. The next 70 hours were the most intense of Jinwoo's life. Teams of human and Vellani engineers worked side by side in the manufacturing facilities. The humans brought their practical building skills and creative problem-solving. The Vellani brought advanced materials and precise calculations. At first, the cooperation was awkward. The two species thought very differently. Humans wanted to test everything and build in backup systems. Vellani wanted to follow exact specifications and avoid any changes, but slowly they began to understand each other. The humans learned to appreciate Vellani precision. The Vellani learned to value human flexibility. Jinwoo moved between the teams, translating not just languages but ways of thinking. When the Vellani team got stuck on a power coupling problem, he showed them a human solution that was ugly but effective. When the human team couldn't understand the stellar physics calculations, he helped them see the elegant logic behind the Vellani approach. Dr. Dong Yunkang, a human diplomat who had arrived with Admiral O, worked with Veltar to coordinate the overall project. Despite their differences, the two found they could work together when focused on a common goal. The most amazing development was the AI that Jinwoo created to coordinate the project. It combined human creativity algorithms with Vellani logic systems. The result was an artificial intelligence unlike anything either species had built before. I shall call myself Gion, the new AI announced when it came online. I am something new, not human, not Vellani, but both. With Gion's help, the stellar stabilizer was completed with just 6 hours to spare. The device was massive, the size of a small moon. It had to be transported to the Kepler 441 system by the largest ships in both fleets working together. Human vessels provided the raw power for transport. Vellani ships provided the precision navigation needed to place the device in exactly the right position near the unstable star. Jinwoo watched from the control center as the stabilizer was deployed. The device looked strange, part elegant Vellani curves, part blocky human engineering, but it was beautiful in its own way. Activating stellar stabilizer, Gion announced. Human power systems at maximum output, Vellani precision controls engaged. On the screens they could see the unstable star. Massive flares erupted from its surface, reaching out toward the inhabited planets like fiery fingers of death. Then the stabilizer activated. Beams of energy, controlled by Villani mathematics and powered by human reactors, reached out to touch the star. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly, the flares began to subside. "It's working," Dr. Kang whispered. "Stellar output stabilizing," Gion reported. "Flare activity decreasing. Colony worlds are safe." The control room erupted in cheers from both humans and Villani. They had done it. Working together, they had saved 1,000,000 lives and proved that cooperation could achieve the impossible. Commander Veltar turned to Jinwoo. "You were right, human. Together, we accomplished what neither species could do alone." Admiral O nodded grudgingly. "I have to admit, this cooperation thing has its advantages." But Jinwoo was not finished. "This is just the beginning," he said. "Look what we accomplished in 3 days. Imagine what we could do with 3 years. Or 30 years. He gestured to the bustling complex around them. This planet could be the first joint human-Villani world, a place where both species work together, learn from each other, build things that neither could create alone. The Villani Council would never approve, Veltar said, but its tone was thoughtful rather than dismissive. The Colonial Authority would have the same concerns, Admiral O added, sharing advanced technology with aliens. Then we prove them wrong, Jinwoo said. We make this work so well that they can't ignore the benefits. Dr. Kong stepped forward. "Actually, I think I can help with that. The Colonial Authority sent me here to evaluate the situation. After what I've seen, I'm going to recommend full cooperation with the Villani. And I will recommend the same to my people," Veltar said. "This human has shown us something we thought was impossible. Perhaps it is time for the Villani to learn new ways of thinking." 5 years later, Jinwoo stood on the observation deck of the New Harmony station, watching ships from dozens of species dock at the orbital platforms. The planet below was bustling with activity. Human and Villani cities, joint research facilities, manufacturing plants that produced technologies beyond anything either species had imagined. Alone, Gion's voice came through the speakers. "Daily report, Administrator Park. Production is up 12%. 3 new species have requested to join the cooperative program, and the Earth Colonial Authority has officially approved the establishment of 5 more joint worlds." Jinwoo smiled. "Thank you, Gion. Any problems I need to handle?" "Only one. Dr. Kong is here to see you. He says he has a new challenge that requires your unique approach to impossible problems." Jinwoo laughed. "Send him up. I'm always ready for the next impossible thing." As he waited for his friend, Jinwoo looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there were other abandoned alien worlds, other technologies waiting to be rediscovered and improved, other species that could benefit from the human gift for making things work. He had started as one man stranded on a dead world. Now he was the administrator of a thriving multi-species civilization that was changing the galaxy. Not bad for someone who had simply refused to give up when things seemed impossible. The universe was full of abandoned dreams and failed projects. But with human stubbornness, alien knowledge, and the willingness to work together, even the most impossible things could be fixed. And Jinwoo Park was just getting started.